Hi, my name is Harry Phillips, and I'm the author of When the Kingdom Comes, From Global Chaos to Eden. We've been doing a series of YouTube videos discussing various facets and facts and pieces of interesting information from my book. And last video I talked about the possibility that there may only be 300, 400, 500 million people survive the tribulation. And I based it on a statistical analysis of how many people would support the Antichrist in order to have total world domination. And I invited those who were watching the video, use whatever numbers you would like, and you can crunch them for yourself. And if you decided that the Antichrist would garner 3/4 following from all the people on the earth to support him, or 80% or 60% or 65%, you can crunch the numbers. And then what we took a look at is the fact that the people who would be left were the ones who would reject the mark and would not follow the Antichrist. And out of those people, possibly half of them would come to Christ after hearing the gospel and experiencing the tremendous, terrible plagues and natural disasters and catastrophes that God will rain upon the earth. And if half of the people who did not follow the Antichrist were to come to Jesus, how many would be left if half of them were martyred? And when you crunch all the numbers for yourself, pick whatever number you would like, you're going to come down to a very small percentage of the population is going to be left. And what we talked about is that at the end of the tribulation, Jesus Christ will return, and all the angels will come with him, plus all of the glorified saints from all of history will be given their resurrected bodies, and they will return as well. A massive army will return to the earth. And the angels will be sent throughout the earth to collect all those who have followed the Antichrist, who have taken his mark, and they will be removed from the earth. So the subject of our discussion tonight would be, will there be life after the tribulation? Now we're living in some pretty dark days today. We're seeing the destruction of the American dollar. We're seeing high inflation. We're seeing government taking draconian measures to take control of the population of the United States by insisting that everyone be vaccinated or excluded from travel, from entertainment, restaurants, movies, grocery shopping. You will be forced to, turned away if you don't have your vaccination passport. Now, those things haven't quite come into place yet, but we may see them within the next 6 to 12 months. And all you have to do is look at what's happening in Australia to see the tremendous control the government is taking over its population and locking down the entire country and insisting that no one is allowed to leave the country. And if you travel in, you're restricted from travel. They only let in so many people. So there's some things that are happening around the globe. And over the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, these things are going to continue to grow and increase. But there's a period of 7 years that the Bible talks about that we call the tribulation period. And that's when the Antichrist has made his appearance and will bring to fruition his plans for world domination. What we see today is the groundwork of how that can happen. But what I want to talk about is when it's all said and done and the tribulation is over, what happens next? Most Christians kind of have a blank wall right there. They don't think too much past the tribulation. But you see, the sun will come up the next day. Jesus will be here on the earth. He will be in Jerusalem. The Antichrist will have been defeated. His armies will have been annihilated in the valley of Megiddo. And they will have been removed. And the dead corpses that lie all over the planet will have to be buried and disposed of. All the weapons of war will have to be disposed of. Because you see, life is going to continue on this planet. In fact, the Bible says there's going to be another 1,000 more years of human history. So when you think about the troubles that are growing today and you think about the coming tribulation, that's just a blip on the map. That's just a little tiny section of a mere number of years. And if Jesus came in the very near future, and then there were 7 years of tribulation, and when the tribulation is done, the whole earth is going to have to be rebuilt. The entire population is going to have to be regrown. The entire earth is going to have to be changed and made over. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to focus on that for a minute. And I want you, if you're a Christian, if you believe in Jesus Christ and you know there's a kingdom that's coming, I want you to begin to think about that. The sun will come up again. There will be a new day. And that day will come to an end, and there'll be a sunset. And then there'll be a sunrise the next day on day 2 of the kingdom. And that day will go through its time period, and the sun will set. And the sun will come up the next morning, and it'll be day 3 of the kingdom. Because you see, this earth is going to keep on rolling. And the memories of the tribulation will fade as the months and years go by. 100 years into the kingdom, what will that be like? Will the cities still be there? Will they be gone? I'm kind of curious as to the idea of whether you think that the electric grid will survive into the kingdom. Because you see, if there's only 300 or 400 million people left on the planet, will you have the proper trained technical people who know how to run a power plant? Do you think there will be enough people to run the electric grid? Do you think that we will have enough air traffic controllers? Do you think we'll have enough pilots left to fly airplanes? Do you think we'll have enough captains to run ships back and forth? Do you think the internet will survive into the kingdom? Well, I don't think it will. I think we're going to see the end of what we think of as our modern world. And I think all of that is going to come to a screeching halt. And the question would be, would Jesus need the internet? Do you think he would need all the technology that we have today? Do you think he would even want it? So what will that world look like? Will there be life after the tribulation? Well, it's kind of a rhetorical question, because if you're a Christian, mentally you might go, well, of course, yes, there's going to be the kingdom, and Jesus will be Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and Israel will be a great nation and will be the center focal point of the entire earth. But what I want you to do is, if you really believe that, if you really picture that, then how in the world can you be fearful of what's happening around us today if you know that it's only going to be for a short number of years and we rapture out of here? And the worst of it we won't see. And in a very short period of time, we're going to turn right around and come right back. But we're going to come back to a completely different planet and a completely different world. And the evil will be gone. And the governments will be gone. And the whole world economy will be destroyed. In fact, in Revelation, it says that the merchants of the earth stood at the end of the tribulation and mourned, for there was no one left to buy their wares. You can read it. It covers quite a bit of a chapter. I think it's around chapter 19. And you can take a look at it. It's a very lengthy thing. The whole economy will be destroyed and gone. And that means manufacturing, products, the things that we make today, be gone. Now, I don't know about you, but I was wondering if there'll even be a pair of Levi jeans on the planet 100 years after the tribulation. Because you see, things are going to be really different. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. That's why I want Christians to wake up. I want them to begin to really get a hold of this idea that the kingdom is very close and it's just around the corner. And all the things that are happening are just the signs that are pointing to the fact that this earth is groaning in travail until the birth of the kingdom, and the Son of God will come and return. Well, I won't belabor the point. I just want to challenge you and get you to think about that. I want you to begin to really focus on the fact that 10 or 15 years from now, we may see that happen. We may be right back here, seeing the beginning of the kingdom. And not very many people will survive the tribulation to see that. When you think of the planet today, it's full of 7.2 billion people. And you think of that dwindling all the way down to 3 or 4 or 500 million, whatever it ends up being. Planet is going to get very empty. So until next time, which I'll keep next week's video a surprise, I would encourage you to go to Amazon.com, put in When the Kingdom Comes, From Global Chaos to Eden by Harry M. Phillips, and it'll take you right to the book. You can buy the ebook on Amazon. You can go to my website at www.whenthekingdomcomes.com. Look around there. You can buy the book off of that. It's available from Westbow Press. And I blog on there every Tuesday. And so you can read some of my thoughts. So until the next time, I'd say I'll see you here, there, or in the air.